give us just like a little bit of an overview about what your program usually is and how it's run, and then
Yeah.
how it ran this year?
Yep. So normally, our program is more about construction engineering and management, or more of construction management students, bringing them with civil engineering students, and we try to mimic a design build process. And they start from the very beginning just with some fundamentals, because I can't like start right away with, hey, go design this. So we have some really great instructors coming in from Wells Concrete and also from Incon. And I can't thank those guys enough. Without them, actually, this will not happen, definitely. Because they do most of the instructions in the class. I did just the facilitation and put the curriculum and the syllabus together for them, and helped a lot on like making things more in academic format that students can really go around and solve problems, and make the homework a little bit tighter and neater. But uh, the expertise is really coming from them. So they come in the class, and we teach in the beginning a lot of fundamentals of design, very simple design. And then we go in a little bit deeper into design, and we start making them pick up a project. And it's usually actually a project that have been done very recently by Wells or Incon, right? And the latest one actually was pretty cool, because it was an office building that was the new headquarters for Wells Concrete in Colorado. So it's kind of cool that they do that. And we try to match that so they can go and see it. And specifically, one of the groups throughout the years was very lucky, because it was like in the process of building. So pretty much what they technically designed, right? And then after they design, of course, we go into a little bit more of construction management side. So we make them estimate their project. We make them schedule that project, right? And then we give them a lot of information about how to really construct that. So we move from design and kind of almost like technically bidding the project in a way, to, okay, if you get that project, how are you going to construct that project? So towards the very end, we switch gears towards more of focus on the implementation, the construction process itself. And that is more about erection and constructability issues that they might find, and then also safety issues, hauling and logistics. So pretty much it is like a design build project that they design and estimate, schedule, and then really, okay, how are we going to erect that? Throughout the process, we try to make 2 days outside of the classroom, at least 2 days, where we can take them to first to which is mostly actually Wills have been very generous to us and went to all their plants here in Colorado. Even a new one, which was under construction at the time, which is pretty cool to see that. They went on and saw every single element that they were designing or they were studying. How is it really being casted? And after that, we try to match also another visit to the project that they have been working on. If we can do that, that will always be awesome. It's like an aha moment. It's like, yeah, all the plans that we have been working on now is like right in front of us. So it's kind of cool for them to see that. So it's more of a site visit and a plant visit separately. Again, one of them was very lucky because they saw some of the elements that was going in, some beams and other elements that have been going into that specific project. They have seen it in the plant, and then they have seen it in the erection too. So that's pretty much like in a nutshell, really, what we do in the class, and the phases that they go through, trying to work with the instructors, work with their groups, and we try to always make them work in groups. If we have enough, the two disciplines have enough students, we try to mix them with engineers and construction management students, so they really feel more interdisciplinary than anything else. And it's been a blast.
Keep muting myself and forgetting I'm muting. That sounds really good. What you told me about the one student who you got the email from, what do students typically do when they leave school? You said he was working for a contractor. What other types of jobs do the students typically have when they leave?
A lot of the students, I mean, and that's across the country, not just here, honestly. A lot of CM and CEM programs, most of the students will go work for a GC. That is extremely normal. Now, some of them will go and work for specialty contractors. That is not very normal, but some of them do it. And to be honest with you, I'm one of those people who urge them to do it because it's a niche. And if you're looking, for example, for an MEP or precaster, there isn't tons of people competing for these jobs, and you become an expert matter in that job, which is pretty cool and a good career path. As a matter of fact, actually, one of our students, I think, is now working for Incon. Trying to remember his name. I think because his brother, whose name is Steve Kenyon, so I think he was Adam Kenyon. But yeah, I know him and his brother. They were both my students. And I think he went on actually and he interned, and I think now he might have been working for Incom now. So there are some students who will choose different career path, but that's just a normal career path that most of them do, at least for the first couple of years, until they kind of figure out what they want to do. And at that point, honestly, they're like sponge. They just like, just try to absorb everything that they're trying to learn on job sites and trailers in offices. So but typically it's just like advisory board, for example, that we have. We have a really big advisory board, and you will see again, it's a little bit dominated by GCs. Some of them also will work in the heavy civil, and that is pretty cool because one of them also have been working heavy civil, and they have been doing some precast girders and things like that and bridges. So one way or another, they're getting exposed to it. So I think the boot camp was a very cool idea that the previous department head actually came up with, and I was very encouraged to kind of go and try it. It's a cool idea because it just gets you away from the red tape that you have to go through sometimes to get a new course, and it brings the industry in more than anything else. So the boot camp model that we have been doing now in Colorado State for at least 5 years, if not more, actually. And we did this in several aspects. We had a VDC one, Virtual Design and Construction one. We had one for heavy civil only, and it was actually very focused on tunneling and such. So there is plenty of those that we had before. And when the opportunity came with precast, I was like, okay, that is very industry focused, and we can compress it. So a boot camp is a little bit compressed. It's not a whole semester, but every single lecture is it's almost like 3 to 4 hours sometimes. So we compress a lot of that into about 5-6 week periods. But in that we can bring in the industry. We don't have to also get all of the authorization processes that can literally take up to 1 to 2 years throughout the curriculum committees and the curriculum committee. There is like a department curriculum committee, and then there is a college curriculum committee, and then there is a university curriculum committee. So there is a lot of channels that you have to go through to approve, and sometimes it's not the best interest for the students who really want to learn this before they go in. So for them not to lose on it, we try to adapt that model, and hopefully later on, whatever we're doing with this model, we try to seep those also into the curriculum. So that's actually another cool thing that we used to do. So, and that's my plan also, specifically for the precast one. So one of the things that we can do is, since the precast is very focused, the boot camp is very focused, we can definitely take out some of those modules and inject into the curriculum itself. So for example, there's a whole module in the precast boot camp that we do is about estimating precast, which is different. And also scheduling precast is extremely different from a scheduled normal project, actually, because you're scheduling and you have to schedule everything coming from, plant all the way to the job site. And it's very different because a lot of people, and I get that frustration sometimes from precasters, sometimes they think oh, it's a precast job. It's just going to be magically just showing up and, Lego, which is, yes, it will help a lot with the schedule, definitely, and it will cut the schedule sometimes even in half. but it doesn't work like that robotically and magically. There is a lot of logistics that goes with that. And for them to understand how to schedule precast, which is very different from the norm, that is very important. So, for example, I can take that module and inject it into the scheduling course that I also teach. Or we can take some of that estimating part and we can, again, have that as a one or even half a week, a little bit simplified, into the estimating classes. So in a way, what we're doing here will never get lost. One of the things that I'm going to be like very adamant about is to share this with everybody else also. Hopefully towards the fourth year, which is the upcoming year, I hope, of course, we can even renew it. But whether we renew it or not, I want to make sure that this happens, that literally we cut this into modules and share it with other schools, whether it's PCI or not, so people understand that, and we disseminate that knowledge that we had accumulated with Wells and Incon is help. And that can benefit a lot of people, I think. So yeah, it's pretty unique. It's a little bit different. And we're very happy that we can do that.